Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next short attention span webinar. Kelly, I cannot wait to tell you what happened. It's bad news.
Oh, Bill.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready.
I had a company that I was doing business with for 15 years, and I was doing their print. And these people were my friends. These people were, I was taking golfing. We used to go out to dinner. I used to, I would wine them, I would dine them, I did all their work, I was counting their inventory. I am shocked. They never even checked my prices. It was just phenomenal. And some printer came in and took me off at the knees. I'm so upset about this thing. I can't believe that the company did this to me. So Kelly, if I threw that scenario out at you, which is not unheard of, right? We've both heard these things.
Oh, I've been there. I get a pit in my stomach just thinking about this, Bill, because I know everybody out there has had this happen to them in the past, and it's very, very painful. I call it getting broken up with. It's like getting dumped. It's really, really painful. So what you're telling yourself, what's that?
They dumped me on Facebook too.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're going to tell yourself and what you're going to think the issue is, what happened, why did this happen to me, is that maybe my prices were too high. Probably my prices were too high. I've been kind of gradually inching up on them year over year. They never said anything, so I always thought it was just okay. You might think that maybe somebody came in and said they could do it faster. Maybe somebody said they could come in and, not charge delivery or knock a day off the production schedule, which we all know is very valuable. Maybe that was it. Or maybe they just didn't like my CSR. She's a little abrasive. She can be a little short with people on the phone. I mean, she's super focused, but maybe it had something to do with that. Well, folks, I have to tell you, it's very, very likely that none of those situations were true. These things tend to happen for reasons that are a lot more complicated than price or delivery or service. Typically, and I got to be honest, I haven't seen this presentation, so I don't know what Bill's going to drop out of the sky on me, but it tends to, I can speak from personal experience. What typically happens is you got pigeonholed into one department and you didn't expand yourself to higher up people. They didn't necessarily understand what you brought to the table, and they didn't appreciate your overall value. Or the possibility also could be there that you got comfortable, you got lazy, and you stopped bringing new ideas, and everybody got complacent, and nothing was happening. You were just kind of taking orders over and over and over again, and not really thinking about things. So, Bill, yeah. I think you might have a little bit of a different tack on that.
No, I really liked your tack. I really liked that. I hadn't thought about that in terms of, I was in the account, but I didn't expand into the account, enough. I thought I was really solid, and, coming back to the days when I sold print, I've made this mistake where I was very focused on one department, and then suddenly somebody does an end around and goes and calls on the head of marketing or head of sales, the requisitioner of the document, and I wasn't strong there. Even though I was killing myself and doing a great job, and the people in one department loved me, these other people didn't know about that, and that was my fault.
Yeah.
And that's really one of the things that I want to get across here. Why do we lose business? It's not because the customer's gone out shopping. It's because we've gotten complacent. Is that we've made that statement, this customer loves us. We can do no wrong in this account. Right? So when you are, the biggest reason why we lose business is not those things from that last slide. It's not the delivery, it's not the price, not the service. It's because the customer thinks that we've stopped working for them. So here's the thing. I want you to hear this with two sets of ears. One is, what have you done lately for your existing accounts? Okay, so your accounts right now are under attack. As you're listening to Kelly and me talk about this short attention span webinar, someone is calling on your existing accounts. And you want them to be able to say, you know what, they do a great job for us. They bring in new ideas on a regular basis. Because I'll tell you what, maybe they've listened to this short attention span webinar too, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're saying, hey, when's the last time Malazi brought something to you? Now, the other part is, when you are the aggressor, when you're calling on someone and they're saying, we're happy with our current vendor, then you want to be able to place the seed of doubt. So Kelly, let me ask you, how can I, without bad-mouthing the competition, how do I get plant the seed, what have they done for you lately? What does that sound like?
Well, you come right out and ask, you say, so imagine they said, we're happy with our current vendor, and that may or may not be true, but you said, you know what, I'm glad to hear that. I would certainly hope that my loyal customers would say the same thing about me to my competition. But let's just stop for a second and let me ask you 3 questions. What do you like about them? What could they be doing differently? And when's the last time they brought you a new idea? Those are the 3 things. Now, that might sound a little bold or a little aggressive, and you may get, I love everything about them, there's nothing I would change, and yesterday they brought me a new idea, in which case you really don't have a lot further to go on there. But but again, you need to listen very closely to what they say. And more often than not, I have found that people are willing to say, I really wish that they ... And when and they really get stumped when you talk about the ideas. When's the last time they brought you a new idea? And they kind of stall and say, well, and that's when you kind of jump in with, well, if you asked my customers what they would say about the value that I bring to the table, it's that I'm focused on helping them achieve their goals. I'm focused on helping them find more customers, and I want to be able to do that for you too. Let's sit down next week and talk about it. You just kind of roll right through it. So that's kind of how I've always dealt with the overcoming an objection, or the overcoming that vendor objection. But I think, again, I don't think we can emphasize too much. This stuff is very important, but this happens to us because we don't know our customer's boss. We don't know the people that are really in those leadership positions, and we really do need to say to, again, those people that we take golfing and that we think we have this rock-solid relationship with, next time I come in, can we sit down with your boss for 5 minutes? Can we sit down with this? Can you introduce me to the CEO? Can you introduce me to the CFO? Get into those doors so they know who you are and they know what your value is, so that this doesn't happen to you.
Yeah, that's great thinking. That's great thinking. So again, hear this with 2 sets of ears, gang. One is offense and one is defense. When you have the cognitive thought, I am bulletproof in this account, they love me, that is the first day of the rest of the end of your life in that company.
It is.
Okay? Because we are as good as the last job we shipped in. Sorry to be the one to tell you that. So there's an offense, there's a defense on this, and we want to make sure that you're not losing business, but you are gaining it on that same philosophy. So, all right, gang. Well, thanks for listening to our short attention span webinar using your short attention span. We'll be back next week with another. Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, Bill.